Hairstylist has been keeping my hair plus 4 updates. I'm weirded out. I'm also going to be vague because obvious reasons. I'm 30s F, and my stylist is 40s. I got my hair cut today at a stylist I've been using for about 9 months now. I think this is my 6th appointment with them. I usually do a trim or cut style. Today I went from long hair, high lower back, to an A-line bob. Again, since I started seeing this person, I usually get current style maintenance trim. This time was a dramatic length adjustment, so they took a picture of the cut length in the floor to add to their social media, then intending to add before-after hours too. That's all totally fine and normal. They go grab a broom, sweep up the hair, and place the dustpan on the counter for a bit. Again, normal. They grab the broom and pan and head to the back of the shop. They're gone a few minutes, no biggie. Then they go out to smoke. But here's where it gets weird. The bathroom is in the back of the shop too. I need to go and step into the back. I don't really notice anything on the way into the bathroom. I go and start to head back out. But I notice my name on a small clear tote on the table. It has no lid, and it has my hair in it. At first, I didn't really think much of it, but I looked closer and see it's not just today's discarded hair, but looks like at least a few of my trim sessions, mixed with, it looked like potpourri and a little sand or something, and printed pictures of the cut hair with dates. The printer is sitting right next to it with today's discarded hair pick in the tray. There didn't seem to be any other containers like this when I looked around. It was fucking weird, so I took a pic on my phone. I honestly didn't know what to think or do and went back out into the salon. They came back in, and I mentioned that I went to the restroom and they seemed to freak out a little but didn't mention it. I didn't really know what to say, so I just let them finish styling my hair, paid, and left. As a socially anxious introvert, this was my nightmare. I got home, and the more I looked at this picture, the more ick I got. I ended up texting them an hour ago, sending the picture, and requesting they remove the weird box of me and asking for an explanation. I said, "Hey, so I saw this and didn't know what to make of it. Can you help me understand what this is and why you have it? I'm not comfortable with you having this and request you please discard the contents. Also, even though I loved my cut, I believe it's best if I find a different stylist." They haven't responded. Lowell, WTF? First update admins, please allow this separate post update. It's been about a week, and with the holiday I've all over the place, but I ended up going to law enforcement to make a report last Monday. I'll likely end up going back if this person keeps contacting me like they have been. I'll give a little timeline. Last Saturday, haircut and discovered the weird tub full of my hair, texted stylist about the weird tub and said I'd be finding a new stylist. Hairstylist didn't respond. This is where I left off in the last post. A lot has happened since then. Sunday, I woke up to a bunch of texts from the stylist. It woke me up because, even though I have D&D on my phone, I have a setting that overrides that if there are repeated contact attempts over 3, in case of emergencies. Here's what I got, copied and pasted. 3:49 a.m. I don't recommend going to a different stylist BC of this. It's not a big deal. Small towns and people talk, and you may not find anyone that will take you after this, so I'd reconsider. I don't like threats. 3:51 a.m. So I have our biological material and it's mine property now. I can do what I want with it. I kept it because I can, and it means a lot to me. 3:54 a.m. You send the pic? I know what it looks like, it's mine. 4 a.m. You need to respond to me, BC. I think it's a misunderstanding, ABT, what this is. It's NBD and you saying you are switching stylist has me triggered. I do good work. You said so. 4:04 a.m. I also charge a $350 client separation fee. So yeah, you can't. Just say you're switching stylists with more consequences, and I know. You said you already tried a few PPL before me, they not many beauty PPL in the area. Fear 4:11 M. Asking for explanation for a stylist having hair in a salon is crazy. Where else would you find hair at? I didn't do nothing wrong, but I will get rid of it if you are gonna cry about it, but only if you say you won't be switching to anyone else for your hair care. You mean a lot as a client and always tip well and do good work, so it doesn't make sense, and you know that, so maybe don't threaten someone who does your hair or hurt thereby making accusatory statements. I didn't respond to any of those that morning because it was so insane to me. I need to process things fully before I make a decision on how to deal with it, so I just didn't respond. Sunday afternoon, I start getting phone calls. This person called me 14 times that afternoon. About every other call, they left a voicemail. Most of the voicemails just said, "Call me back" or "Text me back," but 2 of them were unhinged. I'm going to paraphrase, but the gist of the first one was, "Sounds like they're crying. Call me back. I'm getting scared you won't come back to me for your hair for real. I just like how your hair feels. That's why I kept it. Call me." The second unhinged message was left late Sunday night at 11:38 p.m. and it said, "I got rid of it except for one lock. I found out I like watching your hair burn more than I liked keeping it." I didn't respond to any of those messages, calls, or texts. The whole thing had me freaked out now. I'd decided by that time I was taking Monday off work to go to the police. Even if they couldn't do anything, I wanted a filed report of the weirdness. I woke up Monday to an email from the stylist with an invoice of $375 for client breach of contract fee as the chargeable line item. Again, copy and pasting here. The email body was just, "For being a bitch." It was sent from their business email too, so they're really doing everything they can to ruin themselves. Even if I had a contract with this nutter, which I don't, the original amount was for $350. They can't even get their extortion fees right. I did email them back stating that we had no contract, and to cease all further communication with me from this point forward. I got ready and started heading to the police station around 9:45 Monday morning. I live in a rural area, so there are portions of my drive to and from our main town that doesn't have cell reception. When I finally got to town, I had 4 voicemails. I knew immediately who they were from. I talked to one of the officers on staff. They took my statement, a copy of the email, asked me to forward all the texts and screenshots of the numbers of calls. They said, at the least, the calls and texts could be considered menacing and harassment. But the voicemail where they mentioned how they like burning my hair was potentially concerning. The officer advised I contact a legal representative in case this person tries to take the bogus invoice to a civil suit court. And they said I'm welcome to change my number, but having the piling evidence if they continue to contact me after I explicitly told them not to in the email would only help me. I reached out to a lawyer Tuesday and left a detailed message regarding the situation. They are apparently out of the office until next Wednesday for the holiday, so we'll see if they have any advice. I've since received many texts and calls from the stylist. They sent a happy Thanksgiving text on Thursday morning as well. Regardless, they are giving me a lot of evidentiary material to work with, but I'm so unsettled. I can't wait to hear from the lawyer this week. Second update. I woke up to new comments and requests for updates. Firstly, I am okay and safe for now. The person has continued to contact me on a regular basis via phone and email. I do have personal protection that I'm comfortable with and can wield with accuracy, but I'm nearly certain this person does not know where I live, so I don't anticipate any type of confrontation here. Our house and property has complete camera coverage as well. If anyone, anything shows up, we're well aware. I will be posting a more in-depth update with more texts and emails up to this point, and regarding a specific incident that happened on Friday. On Tuesday, I have an appointment to speak with another officer then to discuss the potential of criminal action and legal consequences for the stylist as a result. Thank you all for your concern and the validation that this is absolutely insane. I'll leave you with a text from this past week, one I think you'll all enjoy, question, use for a model of how not to make friends. Third update. I didn't expect the crazy amount of people following this. Here is the long-awaited post. Also long post. Sorry for the delay, I think I mentioned before. I'm a processor, so it takes me a while to work through my thoughts and feelings on things. This situation and update may not be as satisfying as many would have hoped, but here it goes. I met with law enforcement again this past Tuesday. My husband and I drove over early that morning because I was also meeting up with the lawyer I'm working with. Aside from the near-constant texts, calls, and emails, I wanted to pursue legal action for a specific issue. Allegedly, the stylist had tried to have my credit card canceled. Apparently, they used the last 4 digits of my card, called the customer service line for the card, and tried to cancel it. I got a call from the fraud department shortly after this person attempted to do this, trying to verify everything, to see if I actually wanted to close my account and dissolve my credit line with them. To be clear, the stylist was not successful in their alleged attempt. They couldn't provide the basic information you need for such things like my actual last name. It's unusual, and they gave a name that was almost similar. Date of birth, address, etc. Apparently, they thought they could accomplish this with just my name, phone number, and the last 4 digits of the card number. I didn't cancel the card but did request a new one, for obvious reasons. I had no clue why they would want to cancel my card. To inconvenience me? Yep, that's exactly why. Allegedly. When I spoke with CC Company, they agreed to send over the recording of the person that called, as well as the phone number the call originated from, as long as the request came from law enforcement with a warrant. They gave me a phone number and reference number for the police to reach out to directly. The officer began working on that immediately. So that is in progress. I went to my phone company over the weekend. I had my phone number transferred to an old phone so I could still receive calls and texts there, but got a new phone number for my actual phone. The old phone and phone number has been turned over to the officer assigned to my case. They did go and speak with this person yesterday. Apparently they are horrified I went to the police and had no idea any of their crazy could be chargeable offenses. According to the officer, there have been no further communications via text or call since their visit, and I haven't received any other emails. A temporary protection and no contact order has been issued against them until the first court date. I have also reached out to the State Board of Licensing with all this information and my complaints. All I can say is they are investigating. Outside of that information, I'm limited on any other information I can share since a legal process against this person has officially begun. We're just waiting to see how this all plays out now. It's been a long few weeks. I'm hoping for the best here. I'm already so relieved to no longer be getting calls, texts, or emails constantly. Thank you for all the concern advice and good wishes. This was meant to be an outlet for me to vent and process, and I'm so grateful that you have allowed me to do that with the huge amount of support you have given. Last update. I'm unsure how satisfying or inflammatory this will be, but I've received tons of comments, DMs, and overall requests for an update. Fair warning, this will be long. I've been reluctant to revisit any of this for a few reasons, all selfish. In general, none of what happened over that last year or so was fun. There was a legal process in which I was granted a 1-year RO, restraining order, against the stylist. This process took a while to get to court and be heard with continuations for various reasons. But here is the gist of what happened. The stylist showed up to all of the court proceedings, had a variety of allegedly fabricated evidence to show the court that I was the one harassing them. They had supposed screenshots of texts from my number threatening to harm them, calling them names, threatening to show up at their business and burn it down. The issue with this evidence? The phone number the texts were coming from was on a phone that was in possession of the officer on my case. I had already gotten a new phone number by the time these texts were being sent. The officer had a certified readout of the phone's activity while in his position, and no calls or texts were outgoing after I surrendered that phone. There were none. The stylist seemed very surprised by that information. I don't think they ever considered that I might get a new phone or number. The stylist implied that I had someone else do it, or that I spoofed it from my new number and tried to demand my new number as part of the discovery of evidence. That was not granted. I did have to have law enforcement do another certified review of my current phone, and to protect us further, my husband's phone as well, showing that I or anyone I was in contact with had not downloaded any spoofing software to use against this person or attempted to contact them. That felt icky but was necessary and also very validating. They did have a lawyer, but the lawyer seemed very cowed. I really believe the representation was not confident in their case, especially with the text is and call is this person was said to have received. The tone, grammar, and language used in those communications were not native to the way I speak or text. I hate text speak and rarely use it, especially with anyone I'm not intimately familiar with. The evidence they presented with the texts was riddled with it. I do use slang bestie, but if I don't know you well, you're getting my customer service communications. All that to say, whomever was sending those texts were not me. I don't care to speculate about who did send them, but they read like bad cop dramas. Ultimately, the bench trial was in my favor. The stylist was given no contact with a 1-year RO, ordered to pay all my legal fees, and a small monetary amount. To date, that has not been settled. On to the aftermath. A few weeks go by and things took a turn. Random notes on my car would pop up when I would go grocery shopping about what a bitch I am, and I'll get what's coming to me, vehicles slowing down in front of our house and throwing eggs, or honking their horn over and over in the middle of the night. I'm not stupid, I know who it is. And now they have my home address with all the RO filings. Thankfully, I also have cameras everywhere on my property. I would call the cops, they'd say they would look into it, it would continue. My tire got slashed when I was at dinner with my husband. The restaurant did not have any cameras at an angle that would show us who, but I have a good idea. Their salon location was only 2.5 blocks away. Small towns can be great until everyone and their mama knows where you are when you're in town. This goes on for months. We make a report for each and every instance and occurrence. Finally, the cops really started looking into it more. We gave them everything we had. The car in our footage was not registered to Stylist. When the cops went knocking at the owner's house, they claimed they were paid to go piss of this bitch by Stylist, but thought it was a prank situation. They were cited for vandalism and disturbing the peace and were trespassed from our property. Their car was never near our property again after that. Stylist was brought in for violating the RO. I thought it would be over. Was essentially a slap on the wrist. Cycle continues. Stylist finally spends a few nights in jail after the 5th or 6th instance of violation. Then Stylist files a lawsuit for defamation of character against me for, get this, $200K. According to Stylist, my defamatory remarks cost them their clientele and license. I didn't know it, but their license had been suspended. I guess my report to the licensing bureau worked. Stylist claimed I cost their yearly salary of $200K. What small-town stylist makes this? And demanded reparations for defamation, claiming that my RO was granted under false evidence and cost them their reputation and livelihood. I contact my lawyer, again, and we start our defense. Lawyer does all the lawyer things. I'm advised I can countersue at this point, but I just want everything to be over. The case doesn't see a judge for a while. We go, both sides are heard. Case is dropped without prejudice. At this point, we've had enough. Once the RO is up for renewal, we make a different choice. We moved, we sold our house, traded in our old cars, and dipped. I didn't want this person to ever have access to me or mine again. It has been about 5 months in our new home, and things have been exponentially more peaceful, but I'm so pissed off that it came to us moving. I loved our house, our community, and the area we lived in. I'm sorry I hadn't updated. I just really hate thinking about this one time I had a weird as fuck encounter with my hairstylist that led to nearly a year of hell. So that's it, that's the update. I had time today. It's a new year separate from the crazy, so here it is. And honestly, that's all I'm giving after everything. I just want to forget it.